Show. Oh, you lucky, lucky people. What an exciting night. Folks, this is going to be special. My next guest is the top Democrat on the House Intelligence Committee. When he takes over in a couple of weeks, he'll be a very busy man. Please welcome the congressman from beautiful downtown Burbank, Adam Schiff.
Adam Schiff in the house, real quick.
Nice to see you again.
Great to see you.
I've had an opportunity to interview you a couple times over the years. The last time was last March. I went down to D.C. To find out what you and Senator Warner knew about the investigation into possible Russia collusion. You couldn't tell me much at the time. Can you tell me any more now?
Well, I can tell you who individual one is.
I got a pretty good guess. I got a pretty good guess. Have you learned anything new since then that's like big? Is there something you know that you can't tell me that would just blow my brains out?
Yes.
Is there something that you wish you could tell us that would absolutely just knock us back on our heels?
Well, there's a lot more we know today than we talked before. And just when you think about what we've seen in the last few weeks, it's really quite shocking. Let's take Michael Cohen, for example.
Sure.
Michael Cohen disclosed that at the same time during the campaign when Donald Trump was saying, I have no dealings with Russia, nothing to do with them, that secretly they were negotiating this Trump Tower deal all the way into the middle of the year. And if Rudy Giuliani's cryptic comments can be understood, maybe even up until the election. And by the way,
I would believe that because I don't think Trump believed he was going to be elected.
Well,
so he would keep his business going.
That may very well be the case, that he thought, hey, I can make some money either way this shakes out. But that a candidate for president, the presumptive GOP nominee, would be misleading the country and privately seeking the Kremlin's help to make a deal. And what we've seen subsequently is that not only was he hiding this from the country, the Kremlin was helping in the cover-up. You had Dmitry Peskov, who is the spokesman for the Kremlin, saying publicly when this came to light, we never responded to that outreach. Now, that wasn't true. And this is
Wait, are you saying the Russians lied to us?
The Russians lied, I know.
Oh, we got to get those Russians out of the White House?
Well, we expect the Russians to lie.
Sure.
We expect a president of the United States to be telling the truth. And therein lies the problem. For 2 years, we've had this deeply unethical man running the country. And for 2 years, the Republican Congress has done nothing to oversee any of the allegations of malfeasance, and that stops now.
Okay, well, let's get into that for a second. Because for the previous chairman, you're going to take over as chairman in January. The previous chairman, Congressman Devin Nunes of California, seemed to, there were some doors, they're going, Nunes. Now, there are some things he didn't want you guys to look into. There were some doors he didn't want you opening, and he would lock them and swallow the key. What are you most looking forward to unlocking and peering into? What are the areas that he didn't want you to look at that you're most eager to see?
One of the most basic rules of doing investigation is you follow the money. We were not allowed to follow the money. Now, we have seen the perils of not doing that in the revelations about the Trump business efforts to build this Trump Tower in Moscow. But the question remains, what about these allegations that the Russians were laundering money through the Trump organization? If that's true...
What about those? How would they have done that?
Well, for many years, legitimate U.S. banks wouldn't do business with the Trump organization. The only bank that would was Deutsche Bank. Now, Deutsche Bank was fined hundreds of millions of dollars by the state of New York for laundering Russian money. Real estate is an attractive venue to launder money. If the Russians were, and we don't know that they were, but if they were, it would be very powerful leverage they might have over the President of the United States that might explain his often otherwise inexplicable fondness for Putin and Russia.
Well, Eric and Don Jr. both said that they were awash with Russian money. They got all the money they need from the Russians.
They did, and of course...
Are they honest or just, rocks in the head? What is... Well, why do you think they would say
I don't think I should answer that question. But it's not just Russia. The president said at various times during the campaign he was getting all this money from Saudi Arabia. Why wouldn't he love the Saudis? The Saudis were spending tens of millions on his properties. And now you have the President of the United States rejecting the conclusions of our intelligence agencies about the murder of Khashoggi. And naturally, we ask the question, why? And is foreign funding influencing U.S. policy in a way that's not in our national interest?
Do you have a guess? Do you have a guess whether foreign funding is
honestly,
our politics?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know, but I think it would be negligent for us not to find out.
Now, Flynn's sentence was postponed, pending cooperation, okay? So he's not going to go to jail till at least March 13th, I think, is when they're checking back in with this judge to see how much more he's cooperated. Do you want Flynn to cooperate? Would you like to call him in and swear him in and ask him a few things?
We would, and we certainly plan to invite him to come to the committee, and I think
an engraved invitation,
yeah,
yes.
It will be embossed.
Yes, the dress is collusion casual, please.
Well, here's the thing about Mike Flynn. Michael Flynn was the only cooperating witness who was on the campaign, he was in the transition, and he was in the administration. So he's in a position to tell us a great deal. And if you look at the sentencing memo that Mueller filed, it says he cooperated with them on a criminal case, which we presume is the Turkish matter that's come to light, that he has cooperated with him on the transition. And there, the big question is, who else knew that Mike Flynn was lying? Did the president know that Mike Flynn was lying about his conversations with the Russians?
Did Mike Pence know?
Did Mike Pence know? But then there's that third area that the special counsel identified where Mike Flynn is cooperating, and that third area is completely redacted.
Will that be redacted for you?
No. When he comes before our committee...
Can you send us a signal, like the first time that you go up there after you've read it and you're there, the chairman, you got the gavel, can you just do like a Carol Burnett kind of ear tag?
I have a colleague...
If it's going down... going down.
Yes,
Can you just give us a little tug right there?
I have a colleague who asked me the same question, and he says, if it is blink, and he stares at me until I can't help but blink.
Trump said his personal finances would be a red line, the investigation. Aren't we past that red line? Now that Alan Weisselberg is cooperating with Robert Mueller and the Southern District of New York, aren't we into Roy G. Biv? Aren't we into, Violet in terms of his personal finances?
Well, the first matter is, he is not in a position to draw red lines. That's not his job.
But he can give pardons. He can shut stuff down with pardons.
He can give pardons, but even the pardon power is not absolute. You cannot use the pardon power if your intention is to obstruct justice through the use of the pardon power. And one of the things that I would like to see us do in the new Congress is pass a bill that says that if you pardon anyone in an investigation in which you or your family is a subject, witness, or target, the entire investigative files in that case will be provided to Congress. Congress...
Good luck.
Congress should know.
Good luck with that. Well, I could talk to you all night long. I hope you will come back once you know secret things, and we'll divulge them here with us.
I look forward to it.
I've interviewed you several times before. I've never seen you look this happy. Congressman Adam Schiff, everybody. We'll be right back with a performance by St. Paul.